In this video, we introduce the dreaded cross join. This join is something you will probably never use in this class. When in doubt, don't create a cross join. But you will accidentally create one, and you will send your SQL Server instance off into the weeds because it is attempting to create a tremendously big record set that could bog everyone else down on the server, believe it or not. So we want you to see what could go wrong, to understand how to avoid this, and to make sure that you don't accidentally do this in the future. As a DBA, as someone who regularly creates databases, manages them, uses them, you may periodically create a cross join. If you understand why, and you understand the ramifications, and you understand the results, and you know how to use the results, then you're fine. If you accidentally do it, you'll get frustrated, you won't know what happened when your computer locks up, and you'll just be confused. So we'll talk about this for a few minutes in order to try to eliminate this confusion and set you on the straight and narrow path. A cross join does not specify a common field between two tables. That's the basic issue. If you look on the left of the slide, you can see the SQL statement, select star from table 1, comma, table 2. What's conspicuous by its absence is that there is no join directive in that statement. We are not defining a common field. SQL Server is happy to process this query, but in the process of doing that, it combines every row in one table, every row in table 1, with every row in the other table, table 2. You end up with a multiplier effect such that if there are 3 records in each table, as illustrated in the graphic on the slide, then there will be 9 records in the result set. Well, that's not so bad. 9 records, no big deal. Think about if there are 1,000 or 100,000 or 1,000,000 records in each result set. You've sent the server off into the weeds. The server will try to fulfill your request. It may eventually give up depending on how it's configured, or it may grind away for a long time, leaving you to wonder what happened. I have created a simple database called cross-join example, and I have provided you with credentials. Let's look at that now. If you haven't opened SSMS already, please do that. And I want you to log in using the credentials provided on Blackboard under Course Documents for the cross-join example database. Stop the video, do that now. And I will do that now. Connect, database engine, the login, which you will find under course documents, cross-join example login, the password is also under course documents. I'm not going to give that here for security reasons. Click connect. And I'm logged in twice, which is a good thing, but a dangerous thing potentially if you're not paying attention. You can see that I'm logged in with one set of credentials in this login and another set of credentials in this login. You are expected to do that. You are expected to understand the behavior of SSMS and to be adept, to be skilled at navigating multiple logins concurrently. This login has a set of permissions to let me do certain things, create databases, create users, read tables, create queries. This login has another set of permissions. In this particular case, it's a very limited set of permissions. Let's open up the database folder, scroll down to cross-join example, open that, open the tables folder, and there are 2 tables. This user, cross-join example user, the credentials I provided are only useful in this database for these tables. It's a very limited login by design. We don't want you going other places and doing other things. Let's look at the tables. Select top 1,000 rows. There are 11 animals in the animal table. Make a note of that, 11. Let's look at the color table. There are 10 colors in the color table. Also note the columns in each table. The color table has one column called color. Flipping back over to the animal table, it has one column called animal. Note that there are no obvious common fields between the two tables. There is no logical way to join these tables. We don't know what color a zebra is. We don't know what animals might be green. So the tables are legitimate. They could be useful in some circumstances, but they do not have an obvious logical common denominator between them. That doesn't stop us from trying to join them together. Let us say, for the sake of this example, we want to join these two tables. Select star, which is all the fields, from T-animal and T-color. We can see right away that the join clause is missing. We don't have a way of logically relating these two tables. We left out the join clause. The syntax is still correct. SQL Server is happy to process this query. We just need to understand what will happen when we do so. Click execute. Note that we get 110 rows. Look in the lower right hand corner of your screen, and the output set, the result set, has 110 rows. Where did the number 110 come from? Remember that there are 10 colors and there are 11 animals. If we bring up the trusted Windows calculator, 10 times 11, whoops, now I've dug myself a hole. Clear entry, sorry. 10 times 11 is 110. We see then that 110 is the product of the count of records in the animal table and the count of records in the color table. And if you look at the result set, you will see that there are 11 records for black, each one of the animals. There are 11 more records for blue associated with each one of the animals, and so on through the entire table. And logically, from our perspective, from what we know about these tables, this output doesn't make a lot of sense to associate all the animals with all the colors. In the real world, there will be some scenarios where it makes sense to do a cross join. But for our purposes in this class, don't do it. I'm not going to trick you. I'm not going to ask you to do something that requires a cross join. But we're showing you this so you have a good grasp of all the different kinds of joins and you understand what could go wrong if you misuse a cross join.